Hello everyone. Hello Joseph. Hello Larry. How are you? Today I'm going to start with a new module. That's why I'm waiting for the students. So the new module is the unit number 35, that is the web application development. So this is the unit number 35, that is a new module that I'm going to start with the today's class in today's class. So this is the unit number 5, that is the web applications development. Okay. So these are the various aims, unit abstract, learning outcomes, that is what are the various learning outcomes and what are the various provisions that is followed while using the learners implementation, while using the data implementation that is used to design the web application, how to implement them and how to make the procedures and how to make the content that is available in the database application, that is a web application development. So let's start with the this let's start with this one, that is these are the various outcomes of this module, that is understand the concept of the web application development, then be able to design the web applications, then be able to implement the web applications, then be able to test the web application. So one is the how to design the applications, then how to implement the web application, then how to test the web application for this scenario. So this is the completion, or after completion of this one, these are the various learning outcome, that is procedures. Then this is the unit content, that is understand the concept of web application development. There are various users that is available with this one. There is accessibility, there are various features, example the alternative text, then legislation, laws, whatever. These are the various things that is used to understand the concept of the web application development. Then next is be able to design the web application. So one is the understand the concept, then how to design the web application, that is the next part. Then be able to implement the web application, that is how to implement the web application. So first part is understand the concept of the web application development, then design the web application development, then implement the web applications, then be able to test the web application. So design, implement and test the web applications. So these are the various LO1, that is understand the concept of the web application development. So these are the various learning outcome that is used in this one. These are the various outcomes, these are the various assessment criteria that is available in this one. So let's start with this module. This is the PDF that is used with this for this module, that is introduction to the development of dynamic web applications. Now what is the main content with this one? There is a client, there are the remote host, there is a web server, there is an application server, there is a database. That is how to connect with the various clients, how to connect with the various remote host, how to connect with the various technologies that is used with this one. So this is the name of the author that is available with this one. This is the table of the content, that is the index of this PDF. One is the preface, then session number 1, that is the introduction, then what is a web page and what are the websites. So this module is something related to the web designing part that we have discussed, and the HTML that we have, that is the web pages and the web. Then there is a dynamic websites, then CGI and the Perl, then applications program interfaces, then cold fusion markup languages, then evaluating a website, visit the counter example exercise. So these are the various example that is developed with this one. So then session number 2 is cold fusion MX, then cold fusion markup languages, then data types, then variables, then expressions. So these are the various topics that is covered in the session number 2. Then there is other components that is available with this one. Then guessing the game example, that is guessing the game example that is used with the cold fusion MX. Then there is exercises of this one. The next is a session number 3, that is a web market research, that is there are various topic in this one, that is the introduction, then market research, then applications outline, then implementations, then exercises. So these are the session number 3s. Then session number 4 is a web database for opinion polls, that is a web application or web database for the opinion poll that is used with this one. There are files and the databases, then databases, then CFMX SQL, then basic SQL elements, then opinion polling, then insert statement, select, update. So these are the various statements that is used with the web databases for the opinion polls. Then session number 5 is a web perception application. Then there is an introduction, then outline of the design, then design of the database, design of the dynamic web processes, opening page, demographic form, then displaying the first chart, perception report form, then next chart. So these are the various sessions that is used with the session number 5. Then session number 6 is the web search engine, that is a search engine, then selection menu, then file collection, then indexing the file, that is searching the collection, deleting a registered record, then final remarks. Then these are the various topics of the e-learning. Then these are the various topics of the web shop, web agents, that is available with this one. Then data exchange and the syndication, that is the XML, web databases, distributed databases, that is used with this one. Then session number 12 is reusing the code. Then session number 13, that is a distributed processing. Then session number 14, that is a components. Then session number 15, web services, and so on. So this is the prefix that is available with this one. Then session number 1 is, let's start with the first session, that is a session number 1, that is the introduction. That includes the web pages and the web sites. So internet was initiated in the 1970s as a further development of the ARPANET. So this is just an introduction of the internet, web pages, websites. So internet was initiated in the 1970s as a further development of the ARPANET. The World Wide Web, that is the WWW, was developed and introduced in 1989 by Tim Berners-Lee and the Robert Cailloux at the European Particle Physics Laboratory as an internet tool. So it is available, or it is developing the portions as at a laboratory, that is used as a internet tool for the collaborative knowledge sharing. It became in short time very popular. Today the WWW comprises a large number of computers that makes file available through the internet according to the HTTP. So it is available with the file development, that is using the HTTP. Today it is estimated that more than 250 M people worldwide are using the web. So that is today more than 150 people or 250 people are using the web applications. And the visible contents of a web file is known as the web page. So the visible content that is used with the web file is known as the web page. So what is a web page? By which we can gather any information, that is known as the web page. And if a web page is prepared according to the HTTP protocol, it can be transferred from a host computer using the appropriate software to requesting client through the internet. So whatever the application, whatever the database that is used, so that is used with the HTTP protocol. And most pages are prepared by means of the tag based languages, that is known as the HTML. So this is one of the language that is used, that we already studied, that is the HTML, that is a hypertext markup language, frequently supplemented with some additional tasks. And if the requesting client has the necessary browser software installed, so if the necessary browser software are installed, the file received can be displayed, and if wanted, a new request can be generated. So if there is a new request that is generated in this one, that can be displayed. If wanted as a new request, that can be generated. A website is usually a set of the web files hosted by a computer running a web server. So what is a website? That is consists of the multiple web pages or web files that is hosted by a computer that is running on a web server. Design and implementation of the website has various aspects. So what are the various aspects of a website? That is a content that is embedded in the site. So what is the main content that is used with the sites? Then the page of the functionality, that is what is the main page that is available with this one. Then functionality of the site. So one is the content, then page, then functionality. The topics of a website are varying and depends on the owner interest and the mission. In this course, we will not in this course discuss which appropriate pages are used for the web applications and which are not. And examples of both interesting and less interesting pages can be easily found. So let's start with the different pages or the layout that is designed with this one. And every page have a different background colors and the patterns. Fonts of a different sizes and the etc are among the layout factors from which the designer may choose. So whatever the designer may choose, whatever the tool that is using, that tool may be designed by the designer experiences. And some pages have animation or the voice embedded and using the program transferred to and acting in the client computer. That is, they are acting in the client computer, they are using the background color, they are using the patterns, fonts, sizes, that is whatever they are using in the background color. So far the layout has to a large extent been determined by the latest hypes and the layout advices. So whatever the layout advices, whatever the content that is available that is used with the layout advices, and the heuristic design tools offered have been based on the opinion. So whatever the opinion, whatever the data that is available, that is used with the document, that is used with the various designs. Large scale investigations of people perception of alternative layouts are needed. However, layout is not the subject of this course either. So they are not the subject of this layout. That is a limited empirical fact that is used with this one. The subject of this course is the functionality required to change the web arena from basically state to the dynamic application. So whatever the dynamic application they are using, they have a functionality that is covered from the static to the dynamic applications. And the required functionality is the website's ability to react on a visitor behavior over a shorter or longer time period expressed by a series of requests and the responses. So they are requested by the series of the responses that is used with this one. It is known as dynamic because the web page is returned to the client depends on the visitor previous interaction. That is, we are or any web page we are developing, we can link to the pages to more than one areas. That is generally a web pages that have a different layout, that have a different criteria that is used with this. And dynamic functionality can be approached in many ways. So they have a different opinion, they have a different styles that is used with a dynamic functionality. So dynamic functionality can be approached in many ways. So there are many ways by which we can dynamic or by we can approach our functionality. In this course, we limit our discussion to the functionality based in the server and disregard other approaches. That means we are approaching on the dynamic website, that is how the one web page can be linked to the other website, that is a dynamic websites. The basic model of the web interaction is, so that is the basic model of the web interaction that is developed with this one. So that is a set of the pre-developed static web pages are stored on a host computer. That means what are the various host computer that is developed with static web pages that are stored on a host computer. Then a user sends a request for a web page to the host, that is they are sending the web page to the request, so they are sending a request for the web page to the host. Then the host sends a copy of the requested page to the clients. So that is the host sends out a copy of the requested web page to the clients, and if desired, point 2 and 3 are repeated for the new pages. So they are pointed out to a new pages, they are repeated to a new pages that is developed in the various versions. So the service that manages the host has a node in the web is known as the web server. So whatever the services that manages the host that is available as a node in the web is known as the web server. And in the setting model, figure 1, the host has no ability to analyze the request and adjust the response accordingly. So whatever the response that is available with this one, they are going to adjust the nodes, they are going to adjust the response accordingly. And the response is a requested pre-designed web pages. So what is the response? That is a requested or the requested pre-designed web pages that is coming from the client, and the request response exchange is therefore known as the static. So whatever the response, whatever the data that is available that has a predefined web page, and they are gathering the request response exchange that is in the form of the static. However, the exchange protocol used, HTTP, provides possibilities for some additional items of information sent with the request without any instructions from the requester. So whatever the data that is available that is used with the HTTP, that is used with the HTTP, that is a hypertext transfer protocol, and they are providing the additional item for the data sent with the request with any instruction that is used with this one. So there is a client, then there is a web server, then there is a static pages. The host has a capabilities for forwarding the messages to other programs beyond the web server for additional processing. So whatever the additional processing they are gathering the additional processing for the web server, and their possibilities for information processing behind the scenes makes it possible to create the additional functionality. And we shall use the term dynamic web page or website to emphasize that we are not connected to concern with a simple set of web pages with HTML tags, but with applications in which the pages returned to the client can be dynamically adjusted to fit the individual request of the client. So whatever the client have a request, whatever the request they may be sending, so there is a dynamic website that is developed with the dynamic web pages that is used, that course have a different illustrations. and that is used for the dynamic website. And you may have experienced in this course that have been submitted your personal access code, the system became accessible to you. That means they are using the website that is available with the websites, and if you submit an invalid access code, the host would instead have send the message directly to an inaccessible or unacceptable access code. So whatever the access code, whatever the unacceptable access code that is provided to the message, the site must know your identity prior to a request. So whatever the request that is sending, so that is used to identify the request that is used with sending out the request to the request. You will be soon also see that if you're trying to go to the next session before it is officially opened, you will receive a message informing you that the session is not yet open, that the session is not yet open, that is available with this one. However, when the opening date is passed and you have passed the test at the end of the previous session, the system will respond by giving you access to the session. So if there is any session that is available with the session, that you gives to access to the session. The system must be able to compare your request with its clock time. So there is a request that is available with the clock time and with the recorded test performances. And the student, if the student has not yet completed the required test, the host will return a message saying that the test must be done before the student can proceed. So if there is any student that proceeds, so the request that cannot be done with the request form. Important characteristics of the dynamic websites are ability to authenticate you. So there are different characteristics that is used with the dynamic website that have ability to authenticate you, that is to verify your identity, record your performance history, keep track of your interactions from when you start a session and until you leave, and sometime even from the session to session. So there is sometime even from the session to session, there is going for the interactions from when you start a session until you leave the session. In this course, you can, for example, request your personal progress report, and the system will generate the content of the report to you, while another student will get a completely different report and perhaps for a different number of sessions. There are multiple sessions that is used with this one, so there are multiple parts by which we can gap the various records, various sessions. The next is the CGI and the PAL. So the first step towards dynamic web pages is the possibility for a remote client to request the execution of the process at the host. That is, there is a provision to gather the information for a client request or remote client to request the execution of a process at the host. And use of the form tags of the HTML requires, for example, that the server can perform a processing of data submitted on the form. So if there is any data that is submitted on the form, that is used to process the data that is submitted available with the form. A program must exist for this purpose at the host site, and the web server must be able to communicate with this program. So there is a web server that is used to communicate with this program, and we will refer such a program as a script. So there is a script that is such program is known as a script, and the addressable files in which the script is stored as a template to avoid any confusion with other types of programs, files and pages. So there are multiple pages, there are multiple files that is used with the programs, file and the pages. The CGI, that is a common gateway interface, is a protocol. So CGI full form is common gateway interface, that is a protocol specifying how certain scripts can communicate with the web server. That is how different scripts are communicating with one another, and one of the most frequent used tool for creating such script is the scripting language Perl. So one of the language that is available is the Perl, and a Perl script stored in the host computer can be supplied with the data from a request. So if there is any data that is available with the request, so that is used with the Perl. For example, set by an HTML form, and the script can be designed to perform a variety of tasks such as saving and retrieving data from a database, updating a log, keeping track of visitors, running a course, etc. So that is a script that can be designed to perform the various tasks. It can also be designed to perform its task and then leave the result to the web server. So there is also a designing phase that is used to make the task, that is result with the web server that returns a web page generated by a means of the script to the requesting client. So there is a requesting client that is used to design the web pages, to design the task. Programming languages such as C, C++, C Sharp and the Java can also be used for creating the scripts. That is, these are the languages that is used to create the script. And one reason for the popularity of the Perl is that script program in Perl and can be ported from one operating system to another with little or no modification. So there is no modification or little modification that is developed for the operating system to run the applications in the program. So this is the CGI and the Perl. Now the next part is the application program interfaces. So Perl CGI is a time consuming because Perl script can be loaded, executed and unloaded every time. So to improve the situations, or means this is the limitation of the Perl, that the script must be loaded, executed and unloaded every time when we are using this one. So when we are using the script, so that is available with the script, that is how to use the script in an accessible form, that is how to use the script in an accessible form, so that they are generated in a precise manner. So to improve this situation, the web application interface servers were developed. An application server is a service operating behind the web server. So this is the application server, that is a service that is operates or that is running behind the web server. So there is a web server, that is a service that is used within the web server, and it processes script code which the web server does not understand. So if there is a script code that is used, so that is developed by the program code, and return the script or return the result to the web server for sending to the requesting client. The application server is a resource or permanently loaded executable program. So if there is application server, that is a resource of the permanently loaded executable program, and the resource of the loaded program for Windows operating system, usually written as a dynamic load library. So there is a dynamic load library that is a part of the Windows operating system, that is usually written as a dynamic load libraries. DLL is also referred as a application program interface, that is the API. So DLL is also known as the API. Now what is the benefit of API? So there is an increased speed and the flexibility because no loading and the interpretation is needed. The disadvantage is that API program must be implemented specifically for each type of operating system. So one is a advantage is that there is an increased speed and the flexibility because no loading and interpretation is needed. And disadvantage is that API program must be implemented specifically for each type of operating system. That is, each type of operating system we are designing the program interface and requires more memory space. That is a main disadvantage. That is, it requires more memory space. It must be implemented specifically for each type of operating system. And what is the main advantage? There is the increased speed and the flexibility because no loading, no interpretation, no executable, no converting, no compilation, nothing is available for API, nothing is available in the API. Then next is the cold fusion markup languages, that is the next language that is developed. And listen, Joseph and Larry, today the class is till 5:30, so there is no break in the class. I have to leave early. So class is till 5:30 as per the IST. So there is no break in today's class. If there is any doubts, you can ask the doubts right now. If there is any doubts. Yes, hello Joseph, how are you? Yes, Joseph, how are you? Yes, tell me, Joseph. That is employability and the professional development, right? You have not submitted the assignment on the employability and the professional development. Yes. Okay. What type of challenges? Just a minute. I will open the assignment. I have submitted. I have given to the assignment on which date? You remember the date? Yeah, I got it. Okay, okay, okay. Yes. Tell me the difficulty in the fourth part. Yes, tell me. So this is the. Mhm. Yes, tell me, Joseph, what is the problem? Pardon? Yes, task number 4 or task number 3? Okay. Develop an appropriate strategy for resolving the problem that affects IT system are explained in the case study. So you have a problem on this. You are able to see my screen. So this is the which I highlighted. This is the problem of you. That is 4.2. Okay. Yeah, you have to calculate the number of permanent staff excluding the interviewer who will be required for each week of the project, assuming that each activity start as early as possible. So these are the various activities that is available. There are 2 weeks, there are questionnaires, there are multiple persons that is involved, that is 6 permanent staffs are available. So you have to calculate excluding the interviewer how many permanent staffs are available for each week of the project. Yeah, figure. Yes, you are taking from the case study only. It is given that there is a computer software briefing interviewer, the company hires for survey, 6 permanent staff, and so on. Everything is available. Okay. Yes, Larry, your doubt is that you have to submit the assignment in the proper format. The last assignment that you submit, that is okay, but you have to submit each assignment with a front page with every formatting with the same formatting. I'm talking to. Yes, you have to sign over here. This is a digital signature. You have to sign over here. Pardon? So you have to submit only the first page again. You have to submit the give the signature over here, then the date. That is every format is same. This is the format that is given. This is same format. Larry, your doubt is clear? Yes, yes. Larry, tell me your doubt is clear. Yes, yeah, Larry, tell me. Okay, okay. So you have submitted the corrected one of all the assignments. Just a minute. Your mail is this one. You have submitted the employability and the professional development assignment with the proper formatting, right? Okay. Signature, date, very good. What about the previous assignment, Larry? Okay, not an issue. You have to. You will submit latest by this weekend only. Yes, you have to submit that corrected assignment to me with the proper formatting. Okay. Latest by this weekend only. Okay. Any other doubts, Larry? Yes, Joseph, tell me. Yeah, this is the proper format that the Larry that the yeah this Larry have submitted the assignment. This is the assignment that is submitted by the Larry. This is the perfect assignment. There is proper signature, there is proper date. Y- yeah, page number. Yes, Larry, tell me. Mm-hmm. You have to submit the yeah each assignment corrected one. Nothing else. You have to only copy paste within the MS Word, and the content is the okay whichever you have submitted earlier. Okay, not an issue. Joseph, any other doubts? Okay, so shall we continue the class? Okay, today I have to go early, so the timing is 5:30 as per the IST. All right. Okay. So the next part is the cold fusion markup languages. So there is a cold fusion markup language that is used within the that is used within the subscriber, that is used within the web scripting languages. So that is a language that is available with this one, so we can attend the languages, we can do the languages that is available with the with the markup language, that is a cold fusion languages that is used with this one. All right. So the cold fusion markup languages. So the most common well-known API tools include the active server pages, that is the ASP, and the ASP.NET from the Microsoft, the open source system PHP, and that is hypertext preprocessor, PHP inline internet systems, IHTML, and the cold fusion MX. So these are the various languages that is a part of the cold fusion markup languages, and there is a cold fusion mx also, that is CFMX, that is the cold fusion mx from the Macromedia. And we are leaving the comparisons between the tools to evaluators and the sales people, and concentrate on the CFMS in this course because it is well developed, easy to learn, and the reliable. So we are focusing on the cold fusion markup language, that is the CFMX. The language in which we design our script for CFX is known as the CF markup languages. So the language in which we are going to design the Cold Fusion MX, that language is known as the Cold Fusion markup language, that is a CFML, and the templates are recognized by their extension. So the template, whatever the template that is given, that is recognized by their extension, and that is, for example, the extension is the .cfm or the CFML. And you can referring the to the section that is a software to get the instructions from for installing the necessary software on your own PC. That is, there is a necessary software that is available with the instruction that is used to install with the necessary software on your PC. In the previous paragraph, the advantage of using a web API instead of a CGI approach was emphasized. So there is a CGI approach that is available with the API, and the CF was introduced in 1995. It started out as a string or as a scripting language based on the CGI. So there is a scripting language that is available with the CGI, and later the API was developed. The latest version of CFMX, so the latest version of Cold Fusion MX, is implemented in the Java, that is resulting in a very efficient and the portable API that can be easily be extended by the Java, that can be easily extended by the Java, that is a support of the API. And CFMX is widely used among the well-known companies that have taken the advantage of CF in this one. So they are taking the advantage in CFMX, that is the development of their websites like Amazon's, Dell Computers, Federal Express, and so on.